Boss, I want to talk to you about how to get a Sprinter Van business loan with EIN only. No personal guarantee, massive approval real fast, okay? So here are the steps I really want you to follow. First thing first, I want you to make sure that your credit is in good shape. I don't care if you are in Florida or you're in Texas. I don't care if you're in Rhode Island or you're in California. I don't care about your geography. No matter how much you think there is opportunity in this Sprinter Van business that you want to get yourself into or that you are already in, it doesn't matter when it comes to your EIN only. Because see, when people think about EIN only, they think, I'm just going to forget about my personal credit. It doesn't really matter anyway because they are looking for the EIN. But hey, boss, when we talk about EIN is just a 9-digit number, okay? It's just a number that the IRS has actually issued to you to track your ass when it comes to paying taxes, okay? Obviously, you can use the EIN for other stuff like having a business bank account and actually building business credit. But your personal credit should also be in shape. When we talk about personal credit, when we talk about having your credit be in shape, I'm talking about two things. I'm talking about your personal credit being in shape and your business credit being in shape. In other words, you have to simultaneously make sure that your personal credit is like a minimum 600 and your business credit should be above 80. If you have business credit score, of course, I'm talking here about the payday score. Okay. So because the Sprinter Van business lender is not going to pull, it's not going to do a hard pull on your FICO. However, it really helps because when they start digging, if they were to dig, if they realize that you have some kind of negative information hanging over your credit, this could be detrimental for your application. So make sure your credit is in good shape, and try to verify whether you have a good credit. Okay, you can go to annualcreditreport.com. That's on the personal side of things. You can also try to contact Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business to see that your business credit scores are in top shape too. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We always enjoy having this kind of conversations every now and then. So I was just quickly talking to you about how to get a Sprinter Van business loan with EIN only. So the first step is you want to make sure that your credit is in good shape. The second thing, you need to have a solid business plan. When we talk about EIN only, a business plan is quintessential, okay? And I'm not talking about a cheap-ass business plan that you are going to lift from the internet and like a template that you're going to lift and just customize. No, I'm talking about you writing an actual business plan from scratch. Not you can actually outsource the whole thing. If you're not good at writing, that's fine anyway. You have folks on Fiverr, you have folks on Upwork, you have folks on freelancer.com, you have folks on a constellation of freelancer website who will take care of that for you. Okay, so step number 1, make sure your credit is in good shape. Step number 2, have a solid business plan. Step number 3, you got to think about updating your personal resume. Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking, well, what does EIN have to do with personal resume? A lot, boss, a lot. Because see, if you want the Sprinter Van business lender to start looking at your application with an EIN only purpose, then you gotta really have ways to actually show the business lender that you are a legit company, that you are a legit professional. I mean, you probably are like an owner operator. You have you are running a solo business. You are a sole proprietorship, or you are just you have a fleet. Whatever it is, you gotta really beef up your resume and make sure that it is accurate and updated. Okay, please don't lie on your resume. Okay, they're not trying to hire you, whatever. Okay, but Sprinter Van business loan providers, they love to see the background of the person asking for the loan. They want to see the experience. They want to see how long they've been playing that game and how good they've been during that time. Boss, I want to quickly remind you today's topic. What are we talking about here? We are having a conversation about how to get a Sprinter Van business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, massive approval real fast. Okay, speed is really important here. Celerity. Okay, get the cash you need real quick. You are in, out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So step number 3, have an updated personal resume. Step number 4, you need to have cash flow statements at the ready. This is so important if you're trying to impress the business lender with your EIN only application. Make sure that you have your cash flow statements. When I'm talking about cash flow statements, I'm talking about a financial financial report that has three categories. So you have a cash flows from operating activities, you have cash flows from investing activities, and you have cash flows from financing activities. So when you have this trifecta, you need to make sure that you are able to talk to you're able to present a better picture about your sprinter van business to the lender. So you are basically making sure that you have sufficient cash to be able to repay whatever loan they grant you. This is so quite essential, because if you're asking, like, if there is a delta, if there is a huge gap between what you're asking the lender to give you and what you can actually pay, this will be a problem. So make sure that your cash flow statements is in sync with the loan that you are asking for. Now let me give you a bonus here, okay? Because when we talk about a sprinter van business loan with EIN only, the last 4 steps that I just gave you are really important. Yes, so make sure your credit is in good shape. Make sure you have a solid business plan. Make sure that you have an updated personal resume. Make sure you have cash flow statements at the ready, okay? Now, you need to understand that there are moments when you will need to have a sprinter van business loan with EIN only. Okay, so if you are listening to me right now and you have a sprinter van that you are using for business, you're using to haul loads from A to Z, or you were thinking about getting to this business for a while, in a short while, understand that the moments when you will need a loan will be things like if you need new equipment. I'm not talking about like you need a new car, a new van, but if you need new equipment within the existing van, okay. And so basically, if you actually get you get a sprinter van business loan, this will give you the cash you need to actually beef up your operations, which you need anyway. If your equipment needs an upgrade to be competitive, also this could be a situation where you will need extra funds to actually like you need fund through the EIN only business loan to actually get the funds you need. And it's really important at that point to track how much you're getting versus how much you will have to repay. Okay. And also, if repairs are no longer sustainable, like let's say you have a sprinter van and you have had the vehicle for many years now, and you're like, you know what? I think for me to be competitive, I need to revamp my car. I need to revamp the sprinter van. At that point, you will need to have a sprinter van business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, massive approval real fast. Okay. Now it doesn't have to be with EIN only. Okay, you can actually get the loan the regular way, like with your social. So the lender will do a hard pull on your social. So you have like, this is kind of cool if you have good credit and you want to parlay your good credit worthiness into a sprinter van business loan. But hey, listen, be my guest, okay? But most people want to separate their business affairs from their personal affairs, not only in terms of operational everyday activities, but also in terms of credit. So that if something were to go bad, they still are not touched, literally, okay? And another reason why you might want to get a sprinter van business loan if you don't want to apply for a traditional documentation heavy business loan. Because see, if you apply for a normal business loan, you are going to have a lot of like what we call full documentation, okay? And because if you were to walk into a Truist branch right now, or a Chase branch right now, or a Capital One, or a Bank of America, and you are asking for just a regular business loan, chances are they will ask you like a long list of things you need to provide before getting the loan anyway. So, boss, let me quickly remind you again very shortly of today's topic. I'm explaining to you how to get a sprinter van business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, massive approval real fast, okay? And so if you have a down payment for the loan, this could be a possibility for you to get a sprinter van business loan. Yeah, okay. This could be, again, you are showing the lender that you have sufficient cash flow to actually have skin in the game. And the cool thing is, lenders love that. When they see a borrower having skin in the game, this really reassures them big time, because they know now they can actually just focus on studying the economics of the transaction and see whether or not it is worth it for them, to actually finance this transaction. Okay. And so you can also consider let's just say a sprinter van business loan, right? If a new piece of equipment will actually offset your tax burden. What do I mean by that? So basically, when you make a new equipment purchase, okay, you can typically write off the expense as a business expense. And if the purchase is eligible for the Section 179 deduction, you can write off the entirety of the expense in the year of purchase up to $500,000, rather than depreciating slowly over time. That is true even if you use an equipment loan to finance the purchase. As a result, you may be able to write off the entire cost to lower your taxable income on paper and thus your tax liability, okay? But you can still give your budget a break by paying for the equipment slowly over time. So this is really cool in terms of the technicalities you need to really pay attention to, okay? And one thing you also need to pay attention to when it comes to getting the right business lease also is that you need to think about other situations where it doesn't make sense. So for example, if you have a leasing equipment that doesn't make financial sense, then you don't want to get a Sprinter Van business loan with EIN only, okay? And it's one of those things where you're actually thinking about your ability to get the business loan that you need, and your ability also to analyze whether or not leasing equipment versus buying it, is better or worse, okay? And one thing you need to really understand here is that when we talk about piece of equipment, we're talking about something called obsolescence. So you have a planned obsolescence. You have manufacturers planning beforehand that their piece of equipment, their machinery goes bad after a few years just to make money. I mean, if you think about it, back in the days, you were having machines that lasted forever until the manufacturers realized that they're not really making money if people are not replacing their equipment. So they have come up with a new solution whereby they make money every 3 to 5 years. So this is something you need to really be comfortable with, okay? And another reason why you might want to avoid using a Sprinter Van business loan EIN only, not avoid, you might want to embrace that approach. So one reason why you might want to embrace a Sprinter Van business loan with EIN only is if you want to preserve working capital, because you could have used the cash for the business loan anyway. But if you want to preserve working capital to sort of reallocate the funds to something else, so this could be a possibility for you to actually consider getting a Sprinter Van business loan EIN only, no personal guarantee, massive approval real fast. And one thing I also want to talk about here is that when we talk about getting a Sprinter Van business loan, and you wanting to preserve working capital, make sure that you are really doing this over time. This should not be just a one-time thing or a two-time thing. You do it today and tomorrow and that's it. No, we are talking about you making sure that you are able to basically fulfill the terms of the bargain on your end, to actually honor your words here, okay? So if you want to preserve working capital, make sure you actually go through your cash flow statements and that you are comfortable with the numbers, and the numbers make sense, and that if you were to get a Sprinter Van business loan, you will still be good anyway in terms of the payments that will come out of your cash flow statements. So this is the kind of analysis I want you to do beforehand. Now, let me give you the approach I really want you to pay attention to. So when we talk about a Sprinter Van business loan, this could be anything. You can get the loan to buy a vehicle. You can get the loan to actually take care of operational expenses. You can get the loan to actually, let's say, get payroll, like make payroll. You can get the loan for a constellation of things. You can even get the loan to sort of collateralize something else, a third transaction. This is totally possible, okay? And one thing I want you to really remember here is that when we talk about equipment loans, we are talking about loans that are financing that given to your business to buy business equipment, okay? And so if you have the need to replace, to purchase, to repair or upgrade various kinds of equipment, you need to actually think about that right now. And this is something that's really important in terms of processing, in terms of manufacturing, or in terms of producing, the products, the manufacturer's products. So equipment can include such things as medical and dental and medical machinery, restaurant ovens, cookware, tables and chairs, linens and catering supplies, okay, and so on and so forth. But for your sprinter van business loan, it could also depend on what kind of market you are in, what kind of business model you have, because the tools in your not a cargo van, the tools in your sprinter van will depend on the type of task you are about to reach. It depends on what kind of loads you are about to haul, okay. And while you are at it, think also about loan or leasing, because it's true. Today we are speaking about a sprinter van business loan with EIN only, but would it be better for you to lease? I mean, this is a bigger question, because I mean, I know you're trying to save money. It's really understandable. You want to save money. The bank understands that. The lender understands that, but they want to know whether or not you can actually commit to a situation where you are repaying whatever you get it back. Okay, if you can do this, then it's fine. You don't need to have leasing. Okay, and remember that you are constantly trying to fight against other people, other applicants when it comes to your loan being approved. Okay, and when we talk about equipment leasing, like cargo van leasing or sprinter van leasing, you have a specific steps of I would say specific steps I want you to follow. And I want you to really make sure that you are able to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. The last thing I want you to really talk about here is that if you want to get business equipment loans, you really want to make sure that you are able to provide a business plan. Make sure you provide financial projections. Okay, those two elements right off the bat are really kind of cool. And the third thing you want to also pay attention to is the type of financing you need. Now, it doesn't have to be a cargo van, like a cargo van or sprinter van business loan, the EIN only. It could be just a regular car with the EIN only and a van or some whatever. But once you have that, you can actually partner up with this company and actually outsource the delivery part. Again, this is something that you should be doing yourself, but if you think that you have other ways to maximize your time, then it's really cool. Okay, so one thing we think about in general when we think about a sprinter van loan is that there are benefits. Okay, you have quick approval, you have more money in your pocket, you have tax deductibility, you have flexible payment schedule. So you have approximately 25% of sunk costs are covered. Okay, so such costs include things like fees, delivery charges, and freight charges. Again, each lender is different, and be sure to do your research to know exactly what charges are applicable to the new loans and what the charges actually will be. Will it be for the responsible party to consider? So this is something I really want you to think deep. Okay, and one thing I also need to say here is that when we talk about getting business equipment loans, you really need to have like in your business plan, there is a section called use of loan proceeds, and this is where you really explain how you're going to use the loan that you just are going to get for your sprinter van business. As I said before, when we talk about sprinter van business loan, this could be actually about just the sprinter van itself, or it could be about the business side of things, right? So just make sure that you are in good terms. And so when you actually, when we talk about getting business equipment loans, think about you want to make sure you are in good terms with the lenders, especially banks, big banks, and also you want to think about credit unions that can provide this type of financing. This is going to be very important in the long run if the bank realizes that you are taking this case really, really seriously. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I'm just talking to you about how to get a sprinter van business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, massive approval real fast. So we have the steps. So make sure your credit is in good shape, have a solid business plan, have an updated personal resume, you have cash flows. Also want to think about the bonus here. So there are moments when your business can benefit from a cargo van or sprinter van loan. Okay, and I give you also a few pointers in the approach department here. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.